Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we're going to talk about my 2021 West Texas bully buck that I killed. In order to do that, we got to go back to 2020 when I first encountered him. 2020, I was going after two bucks, specifically Hightower, tall and super tall, and just kind of came out. And then Romo kind of curled back in. Both 9 points, both matured bucks, both in the 130s. So didn't really matter which one I got, although I did want Romo more than Hightower just because I liked how his rack curled in, but would have been super happy with both of them. My buddy Jeff, who's the property owner, told me there's a 3-year-old out there that had a little split off his G2 and he was pretty consistent. Well, that was an understatement because I've seen him every sit. That deer just straight up thought he ruled it and was very frequent. So the evening of day 2, I have 4 bucks, one of those the bully buck, a few does come in, and they started kind of bumping does and grunting, and some were feeding on corn. When I noticed the bully buck kept looking like, virtually it looked like he was looking at me in the blind, but I had Romo circling the blind. I didn't know it. And he popped up right next to me. I mean, within 5 feet. Started pushing does around. I ended up getting a shot on Romo. I seen him fall. He only ran about 40 yards. He fell. And I'm all excited sitting there texting my buddies when I look up and the bully buck is already back feeding like nothing happened. So I got a little footage of him. Made a little bit of noise to kind of get him to wander off. I went out, FaceTime my buddy John. And while I was FaceTiming John, I look up and the bully buck is on the trail that my buck took before he died, with his nose down. And so I'm sitting there showing him, and he's getting closer and closer. And finally I had to tell John, I was like, man, I gotta let you go. This deer's showing signs. It wants to fight me. So I got off the phone with him, and I ended up having to circle my deer 3 times with that deer on the other side, trying to keep him off my deer and try to keep him from fighting me. Where I hunt there, it's a 1-buck county, so given my buck's laying on the ground dead, I can't really shoot this deer, although I'm not going to let him attack me either. But thankfully, I was able to get the bully buck, to leave. I got a little bit of footage of him kind of browsing behind me. He still was trying to figure out if he wanted to fight or not, but I thought that was pretty neat. Fast forward to 2021, I went to Texas with my buddy Mason from Alabama. And first evening, we got Mason on a real nice 8-point. He was able to tag out. Super nice 8-point. I do believe that's his personal best buck. Probably a high 120s. Got a broke brow, but I mean, with that broke brow, he would definitely have been in the high 120s. Very beautiful deer. I was after a 130-inch 6-point, and then probably a high probably a high 130s 10-point. Those were my 2 that I was after. And day 1, day 2, day 3 was warm. Seen several bucks, couple mature bucks, just weren't quite what I was after. Lots of wildlife though, seen plenty of deer, bobwhite quail. I love watching them. They're pretty neat. Just didn't quite have the right recipe for that moment you're looking for when you're out in the woods. But day 4 was like a 20-degree drop in temperature, and I just had a feeling that if it was gonna happen on this trip, it was day 4 for me. And it started off great. First thing in the morning, I had a 3-year-old and a younger deer come in. They kind of fought. 3-year-old pushed them out of there. Some does come in. About 7:45, I noticed that 3-year-old bristled out, flopped his ears down, started sidestepping. So I knew I had a buck coming in just out of sight behind me, couldn't see. Well, as soon as he got out of sight, I heard him lock up. They started fighting. I had to drop my side window to take a quick peek, and I could tell it was a really nice deer. Had that 3-year-old upside down, neck turned, eyes bulged, had him pinned straight to the ground. I thought he was going to kill him, and at one point I thought they were locked up because they didn't move for almost 5 minutes. Now I had a little window out the side. Now I'm using my bow, so it would have been, I'd have probably shot the side of the blind trying to shoot him. So I sat there and watched him. Now I do have a rifle on me too because it is rifle season. But I usually only carry that for pigs, just in case. I really wanted to get with my bow. When I ended up taking off down the sendero, the bigger buck chased off the 3-year-old. A few moments later, I caught movement coming from the same direction, so I turn on my camera. And as soon as he comes in to about 25 yards, I try to give him the old brat. And he took off like a bomb went off. Didn't realize, hey, he just got into a fight. He might be a little on edge. He took off down the sendero, the direction the does went. Now at this point, I'm gutted. I'm at my lows. I thought I just blew, the opportunity I've been looking for. And to my surprise, I don't know it yet. That deer is the bully buck from last year. I'm about a mile from where I hunted him last year, or didn't hunt him, but where I had all the encounters with him the year before. So I didn't even really put 2 and 2 together yet that this deer was A, still around, and B, it was him. But he took off to my left. So I got a sendero that goes to my left, and I got one that comes up from behind me on my right. Kind of comes to a point, and then the feeder is right there. Well, he took off that way. So again, I'm at my lowest of lows. I'm thinking this is it. I've tagged out all 4 years prior in Texas, and so I'm kind of reflecting all that. And then I'm kind of telling myself, you know what? You've tagged 4 bucks 4 years prior. If you go home with a tag, then hey, you know what? At least your buddy Mason got a good one, and so it wasn't a failed trip, right? So I'm sitting there, and probably about an hour goes by. I look down the sendero to my right, and I see a doe coming. And then 2 more behind her, and then I see a big deer coming behind them. So I quickly look, instantly recognize, hey, that was the deer that just boogered out of here. I'm not going to make a noise. I'm not going to do anything. Plus, he's following these does. Well, this is also where I forgot to hit record on the camera. So I didn't get the shot on camera. But he comes in right behind the does, put the pin right behind his shoulder, let it eat. And I mean, it just straight smokes him. Tucks his tail, takes out of there. I did get a trail cam picture of him leaving. And then he kind of went behind some mesquite where I didn't have a clear view. Didn't see him fall. So I'm sitting there texting my buddies, And I like to give him an hour and a half if I seen it was a good shot, but I didn't see him fall. So I was like, well, I'm just going to go get my arrow, look for my arrow real quick, look at blood, go from there. Well, I get to my arrow, it's just lung buttered blood, and I look up, I can see him dead. If you look right here's where I shot him. Okay, so I'm probably 10 yards from that. I'm sitting here looking for blood. I just happen to look over. There he is. He couldn't tote that. Oh man. There he is. Oh. Oh. Yeah, baby. 5 for 5, Texas. Super happy the crossbreed from True Blue ate them up. That's True Blue right there. They do have fixed blades if fixed blades are your thing. They got the 2-blade Impulse, 100 grain, 125 grain, and 150 grain. I shot him with the mechanical 2-blade. This thing is 125 with the chisel tip. And if you want to put a fixed blade on top, that chisel tip comes right out and you can customize your own broadhead. But they've been working really well for me. I've shot a lot of big deer and I've had very, very short blood trails ever since. So super happy. If you want some, go check them out. True Blue Broadheads. I hope you enjoyed today's little episode. I just have all this kind of footage of deer, but I didn't have everything like to make a full video, but I felt like it was still a cool story and a real neat experience that I was able to meet up with this deer again a year later and give him that fight he wanted. And, well, unfortunately for him now, yeah, he's part of the story. So I appreciate you guys for watching and stay tuned for more things from String Therapy Outdoors.